Reddit and Twitter breaching containment for sure. But beyond that, it's good that there is like at least some level of pushback. This happened last night and we immediately covered it, obviously, as it happened last night. Mehdi Hasan went on a CNN panel. Okay, and the guy breached Reddit containment. The guy who was in front of him basically was thinking that he could get away with saying some extremely Reddit type shit, extremely Twitter type shit. Okay, haven't they literally thanked you for watching the video before? I know they have, so I don't know why. I don't know why they're like
you don't want to be called Nazis.
The other, like, there's this group that they're using to copy strike people and they keep coming after me, so I don't know why. It's very annoying. Yeah, I said this is what happens when you think real life is like Reddit and Twitter. DM me the details so I can verify, because there's a database for strikes and shit. It's a LDS, a group called LDS. Don't update the app, Hasan. Make sure it's a real one, I bet. I don't think it's Mormons. I just think that their group is called LDS. They keep claiming my fucking videos, dude. It's annoying. But I don't know. So this guy's a former Proud Boy orbiter who used to go on Gavin McInnes' show regularly under his real name. Someone told me that that guy who was shitting on Mehdi Hasan also wrote for Richard Spencer or something. I don't know how true that is, but I would like to investigate it a little bit further. But point is, Mehdi Hasan is on a panel talking about fucking racism from the Trump Nazi rally, okay? And look at how the conversation falls apart so quickly.
If you don't want to be called Nazis, stop doing.
You're called an anti-Semite more than anyone else at this table. Yeah. And people will sit there and no, by me, I never called you an anti-Semite. Okay. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying
I'm a supporter of the Palestinians. So I'm used to it.
Yeah. I hope your beeper doesn't go off.
I'm a supporter of the Palestinians, so I'm used to it. Well, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. Now, that is probably one of the most commonplace fucking things I've heard since Israel did its terror attack on Lebanese soil that many people celebrated, like, openly. Okay? So many motherfuckers celebrated that shit. And it was very frustrating. It was very, very, very frustrating. Okay? But look at this. Look at why this is considered permissible.
Wow. You should not.
No,
did you just say I should be killed?
No, I did not say that. No, I did not say that.
Hold on.
Did your guest just say I should be killed on live TV?
I said I hope you
don't. Let me just stop.
You said you hope my beeper doesn't go off.
Because you said I'm a big supporter
of the Palestinians.
Hamas?
Guys, let me stop.
Palestinians.
Are you?
Am I what? No, of course I'm not saying
Palestinians
I apologize.
Are you a racist, violent person inciting violence against me?
Ryan.
That's disgusting.
That is completely.
No, I apologize.
Good job, CNN. Let's have first block say the Muslim guy should be blown up.
I apologize.
On TV.
Don't say then I apologize. You literally.
I thought he said Hamas.
You didn't think I said Hamas. I said I
did.
supported Palestinian rights.
Yes, I did.
Why? Because when you hear
What's funny
Palestinian,
is Rudy Giuliani said this yesterday, so you're a great guest to be here to defend Rudy Giuliani.
I wasn't going to entertain nonsense today, and so at this point,
this is what we're in now. This is America in 2024.
Here's what I will say.
Forget the racism.
That's right.
I should die.
I didn't say that. You said,
what does beeper mean? Don't give me your fake
I did not say you should die.
Why did you say with my beeper go?
What did you mean?
What did you mean by the beeper?
So what did you mean?
What did you mean by the beeper? No, you didn't. You said, I hope your beeper doesn't go off.
Ryan, stop talking.
At least have the guts to support your racist comment.
Hang on.
I'm so sorry.
Let her bring it back.
This is why yesterday's rally was disgusting.
Don't call us Nazis, but I'm going to threaten the brown guy as a terrorist and kill him.
Because I didn't ever say Donald Trump was Hitler. But do you know who stood on a stage yesterday and said, I want to come to the Nazi rally? I don't have to make up words and call you something. You're saying it for yourself. And what you just said
Kamala
right
Harris
here,
is a pimp
apologize.
Now, there's something going on here that you have to understand. He is a Republican. He is like a Republican guy doing this. So now liberals will say, wow, like this is unacceptable. The problem is liberals have also kind of played a role in normalizing this kind of sentiment. Like it's not that shocking when you have Biden's State Department anti-Semitism czar Deborah Lipstadt saying this exact same fucking joke, basically, on a panel.
After October 7th, there was a feeling around the world that Israel is weaker. And in the
you want a beeper?
Like that's the thing. Like this is something that like people can be super callous about. This is something that people can like very openly be super callous about. And there are many other instances where directly on CNN, people have done this sort of shit. And you know, I think it's like Reddit and Twitter breaching containment for sure. But beyond that, it's good that there is like at least some level of pushback. Okay. Is that a slur? I've never heard that word before. What do you mean, beeper? No, it's not a slur. It's just basically saying like you will be extrajudiciously assassinated by the state of Israel. That's what you're saying. When you make that joke, when you say like, oh, wow, your beeper is running, which many people did about fucking Rashida Tlaib as well. And every single person that's like openly pro-Palestinian, especially if they're of a Muslim background or if they're from the area, if they're Arab, like people just go crazy with that. Every single Arab and Muslim content creator that is pro-Palestine has received those jokes a million times over. I don't know how many people we have banned in the aftermath of Israel exploding 2,000 fucking pagers, killing a bunch of like first responders, killing a 9-year-old girl, and many others. Like, it's so incredibly commonplace. It's just, that's it. And that's the reason why I think this person is like very... that's the reason why this person is like very cool, calm, and collected, and dare I say shocked when people call him out when he realizes, oh, this is hostile. Look,
did you just say I should die?
You should not.
No,
Did you just say I should be killed?
No, I did not say that. I said, no, I did not.
yeah, look at his face. Like, look at his face when he realizes, like, the moment that he realizes, like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Like, he's having a little panic moment. I'm glad that there's a little bit of pushback at this point. But I think that, you know, part of the reason why they're doing it is because it's gotten so completely out of hand. The other clip of this joke got ha-has. This time, not so much. But then on Twitter, he's trying to play this off as a joke, of course. Yeah. I don't think it's just Twitter, Reddit and Twitter. Rich Lowry, him, Tony Hinchcliffe, and everyone that's part of the MAGA movement all say this stuff behind closed doors and are waiting for Trump to get elected for this kind of talk to become normalized. This kind of talk is normalized especially against Arabs and Muslims. What do you mean? I can give you a million examples of this shit. Former TV booker explains that this is a major issue for network TV. CNN just removed a far-right panelist for a racist remark as progressive commentator Mehdi Hasan. This was the right decision, but as a former TV booker, what happened is a part of a much bigger problem. Before going independent, I used to be a producer on The Hill. Like all mainstream media shows, we were constantly trying to have a balanced panel discussion, but we always had a problem. It was very difficult to find Republicans who weren't crazy. Frequently, my colleagues would book right-wing commentators, and as someone who'd come out of conservative media, I often had to review them before they were put on air. More than a few times, people who were alt-right activists were booked before I removed them. Other times, we couldn't find anyone who was actually qualified to talk about the news of the day in a non-frothing manner. We had people offered who had made racist remarks, people who had stalked women, etc. The Republican media, meanwhile, made zero attempts at balance. We also had several commentators who expressed Christian supremacist ideas, which meant, of course, that they couldn't possibly add anything useful to Israel or Islam. This is what happened to the very long-suffering Abby Phillips tonight. The biggest beneficiaries of affirmative action in media are Republican commentators. That's true. The MSM are desperate to find anyone who can engage in civil dialogue without filibustering or collapsing into bigoted rants. This is why you often see the same Republicans everywhere. Republican elites have a huge quality problem on their side, but they don't care to do anything about it. That's because they realize that engaging in informational hygiene would shrink their very unstable coalition. They've chosen extremism and never get called on it. And it's true. Okay? And especially when it comes to like Israel stuff, especially when it comes to Israel-Palestine related shit, liberals say the same exact unhinged things as well. Look at Bill Maher. Bill Maher says stuff like this on a regular fucking basis. Congresspersons make these same jokes. Like, look at this. This is a representative.
Say self-defense what Israel's doing with the pagers and how the walkie-talkie.
Now that's a Republican. Okay? That's a Republican.
They killed an 8-year-old and an 11-year-old.
Do you have your pagers on you? John Fetterman, on the other hand, is also defending the pager attacks in like non-hostile media environments. Okay? Just so you understand, like the very same people that are fucking outraged right now because a Republican said that joke directly to fucking Mehdi Hasan's face are the same people that made those exact same jokes. The most revealing part of this train wreck was that this twerp's sniveling cowardice. He makes 2 rapid-fire, nasty, racist, disingenuous remarks, and then when he gets called on, he goes for, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I misunderstood you." Was totally clear who this guy was from his Twitter feed. Okay? Is it possible that Hezbollah just bought new Tesla pagers? I mean, I guess that's more of a joke on Tesla than it is about the pager attacks killing civilians, to be like unimaginably and endlessly charitable to that specific person. It's not the exact same kind of joke, in my opinion. But yeah, that interview Fetterman gave was crazy because he was called lying twice in less than a minute. Yeah. Do you guys have the Fetterman interview as well, where he like justifies the death of a 9-year-old, which is insane? Oh, here it is. Once again.
I would love to understand where your affinity with the state of Israel actually comes from. Can you explain its origin to me?
Yes. Well, I mean, I can't say that there is an origin. I think it's really about, that's our ally. There's a special relationship. And now if anyone that studies history realize that if you are not willing to stand and protect and support the Jewish community, that can end in incredibly terrible, awful ways. That's what history has taught us. And now to anybody that doesn't follow the history and not even aware of a lot of it, like err on the side of democracy. And that is the only democracy in the middle of that region. And I had the chance to visit there, and that's the kind of society that have the same kinds of values that we live and what we aspire to, especially, ironically, progressives, especially for women and members of the LGBTQ communities. And that's why for me, it's an easy choice through this.
I am curious if on that trip you made to Israel, if you went to the West Bank at all and met any Palestinians there.
I didn't go to the West. I didn't. And then, so I didn't have unlimited time to see all the things that I wish I could. But I would love to go back. But
I guess what I'm asking is if you've tried to understand the other side of this conflict.
I've talked to a lot of people. I would visit and I would discuss members of the Arab and Muslim from Pennsylvania. I would have open dialogue. I entertain that. I would be happy to really understand the other side. And I've been unable to, other than it's like, hey, if we can just stop fighting and attacking Israel, that's going to make the quality of life for anyone in that region to start to get better.
As you mentioned, you visited Israel for the first time in June. You met with Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, who thanked you for your courage in your support of Israel. How do you see his leadership during this conflict?
Yeah, I thought it was really curious that Democrats felt like they needed to politically to criticize Israel, but that would be difficult. So they found that, well, we're going to just focus on Netanyahu. And you can think he's a bad leader or a bad person or anything, but that happens to be the democratically leader of Israel.
Oh, God, he's so bad. Here.
I just want to bring it back to your state, though, because you have gotten criticism from both Muslim groups and pro-peace Jewish groups. Last month, the Philadelphia and Pittsburgh chapters of the Council on American-Islamic Relations, they issued a joint statement where they condemned you for saying that you loved Israel's pager attacks targeting Hezbollah in Lebanon.
I do. I absolutely.
Well, they said when our elected officials start condoning the civilian loss of life, our collective moral compass is irreparably harmed. That's a quote. And indeed, that attack did hurt and maim civilians.
It didn't. It was targeted for men.
It did. What do you mean it didn't? You can't just wish cast something that didn't happen. How is it any fucking different than the just QAnon weirdos, You're just hallucinating.
Members of Hezbollah, no one uses beepers in that situation other than they were a member of Hezbollah.
There was a young child
that was a micro targeting to minimize civilians.
There was a young child who was killed who was taking the pager to their parent.
Unfortunately, tragically, because Daddy was a member of Hezbollah. That's tragic. He
would you have the same energy if the roles were reversed? If a member of the Knesset of the Likud party that you just criticized, right, Benjamin Netanyahu, it's just people are criticizing him, whatever. If a child of a Likud party member someone in the chat said the dad was a doctor. Yeah, there was a bunch of there were a bunch of fucking guys. Stop sending me Richie Torres tweets, please. He's got the John Fetterman brain rot, dude. He's posting. Is this the same Myron Gaines who say we must first figure out a way to take our country back from Jewish supremacists? You and Hasan Piker are two symptoms of the same disease, anti-Semitism with Twitch. This guy is not even a fucking Twitch streamer. He literally was unbanned and then subsequently banned from Twitch. Okay? Please, you do indeed have a First Amendment right to speak, but so do I, and I will speak I will to the chagrin of every rotten anti-Semite on Twitch. This guy's not even on Twitch. It's just brain rot. This is funny. I saw this earlier. This person saw Ethan Klein's screenshot and the name Hasan and assumed it was Hasan Piker, not Mehdi Hasan. Lumping you in with Fresh and Fit is wild. I know. It's disgusting. Why is Myron coming to your defense? What the fuck? I don't know. It's just maybe to fucking whitewash their perspective somehow. I don't know. There's never been a moment where I've defended them, okay? They are, Myron is literally a Holocaust minimizer at best. Most likely a Holocaust denier, okay? When he had a conversation with Ethan, I remember very quickly, Ethan was like, okay, what do you think about the Holocaust? And he was just so evasive. He's nice enough to support your right to speak your mind law. Guys, stop. It's fucking cynical, okay? It's completely cynical. He's backing you, though. A lot of you are so fucking stupid. A lot of you are so fucking stupid, dude. You are literally operating with minus 10 IQ, okay? You just genuinely don't understand. No, I am permitting them. Like, what do you mean? I don't want fucking support from Nazis and Holocaust deniers, you dumb fuck. The fuck is wrong with you? That is not a very good argument. No, it is a good argument. And if you fucking support Holocaust deniers and Nazis and the like, because they said, oh, well, I respect people's First Amendment rights, like in the process of like trying to normalize their fucking perspective, you are a dumb fuck, okay? You are dumb as fuck. You are so easily duped. Holy shit. God damn. There's never been a fucking singular moment where I've ever allowed that kind of sentiment to be expressed in this fucking, in this community. Okay? They're too focused on drama to realize that what they're doing. Yeah, these people have to be baiting at this point. There's no way you can be this brain dead. No, I think that they are that brain dead. I think there are, you know, there's going to be a lot of stupid people in this fucking community too, everywhere. What's next, dude? Oh, Nicholas Fuentes defended my right to free speech. Oh, okay. Sure. Like, what do you mean? Fuck those guys.
Brought that danger and evil into their home. And that's what's...
Like, a lot of people, I think, don't understand, okay? The way I look at this, okay? A lot of people who are pro-Israel are fascist of a different variety. There is no difference in terms of like ethnic superiority arguments that Nazis have made, that neo-Nazis have made, that fascists still make to this day, versus people who believe in the demographic concerns of Israel maintaining a Jewish ethnic majority. Okay? It's a handshake. One side, it's a handshake where both sides are unironically making anti-Semitic arguments. The idea that like all Jews have to 100% singularly defend Israel. It's ridiculous.
That's what tragically resulted in that poor child's death, and that's what's so terrible. She paid the price because her father was a terrorist for Hezbollah, and I grieve for the death of Palestinian children and other innocents there. I don't assign any more value to their lives. I mean,
yeah, you do.
This is my own children's lives, and that's why we have to destroy Hamas, and we have to develop a new way forward where people can live in peace, so that this kinds of death and misery, it has to stop. But it's not being driven by Israel; it's driven by Hamas and Iran, and that kinds of commitment to destroy the state of Israel. And now you have idiots in this nation, you know, talking about and chanting about from the river to the sea, and they try to pretend that doesn't exactly what that means. And that is Israel is in the middle of the sea and that river, and that has to be wiped free. And that's at least own your anti-Semitism rather.
Shut the fuck up. Anyway, you guys understand that like there are permission structures for genuinely Islamophobic sentiment being expressed here. And that is part of the reason why the fucking Richard Spencer writer guy thought that he would be able to spew that nonsense comfortably on CNN, especially when CNN has done this. CNN pundit calls Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar a public relations agent for Hamas with no pushback.
Today. No, she's a Democrat. They're going to vote for Biden. I'm not surprised about that. I am surprised that in the year of our Lord, 2024, there is a public relations agent for Hamas sitting in the United States Congress.
Today.
No.
He didn't get fired. He's still one of the most prominent Republican voices on CNN. Okay? So understand that. This is what I mean when I say Islamophobia is so pervasive and so fucking permissible. Okay? It's just like the most normalized form of bigotry. Where, like, in the United States of America, a white supremacist country built on those fundamentals, built on chattel slavery, indigenous ethnic cleansing, Americans have improved their ways in which they do anti-black white supremacist sentiment. Okay? So much so that even if someone is like a die-in-the-wool racist, there are certain things that they hear where they're like, oh, that's a bridge too far for me. Wouldn't go that far. You know, you could have a guy with like the identical politics of a fucking Klansman who will still turn around and go, oh, saying the N-word with a hard R, well, that's a little bit much. Whereas Islamophobia and its social conditioning and it's like the propagandizing of Islamophobia is relatively new. It's a relatively new target. It's relatively new in comparison to like the inception of the American state revolving around anti-black white supremacy. So there is no masquerading. You can be like, no, these guys are all jihadis. They're all terrorists. They're all terrorists that need to be killed. That type of shit is not only pervasive, but totally accepted. This is a fact all over the Western world. Yes. Will this sort of sentiment be normalized even if Kamala wins? Yes. Kamala Harris will come out with a statement, just like Barack Obama did every now and then, about like how Islamophobia is really scary and people shouldn't do it. And then everyone will turn around and be like, she loves Muslims. She's a jihadi herself. It already is. Kamala Harris is currently the vice president. Joe Biden is currently the president. It's currently pervasive. It's currently accepted. Anyway, the mainstream media needs to stop platforming dishonest and bigoted Republicans. America needs to hear what the far right thinks, but we don't need to hear their bigotry and trolling. Reporters can present these views and their significance. We don't need these bigots. Until CNN and other outlets return to the regular standards, they're going to keep having their right-wing commentators engage in self-destructive acts. Remember the imploding of Jeffrey Lord, Ed Martin, and Corey Lewandowski? These people keep horribly tarnishing the CNN brand. The hard reality is that Republicans are so far from center that they cannot engage in civil debate. The viewers would be better served by ending the right-wing food fights. We also don't need fictitious Republicans who lie constantly either, like Ronna McDaniel. CNN's Republican chief executives clearly are behind these recent Republican affirmative action hires. They suppose that having more right-wing droogs on air will get Republicans to flip away from Fox, but this will never work. For every Fox bot tuning in, they lose 2 disgusted viewers. And just closing on the root of Ryan Jerdowski, he is a full-on racist and radical Christian supremacist who has written for racist activist Richard Spencer, a fucking Nazi, an out-and-about Nazi. He has been running on operation to block black and LGBT authors from school curricula. He should have never been on CNN. Richard Spencer confirms that this guy literally wrote for him more than a decade ago, but wrote for him nonetheless. The irrational both sides fetish has created a dynamic where it is more controversial to call a fascist what they are than it is for Republican politicians to praise Hitler like Trump and Mark Robinson do. Calling a Nazi is more controversial than being an actual Nazi. What the actual fuck? I'll convert this into an essay, but in the meantime, here's what the current rising conservative host is up to is just as disgraceful. Anyway. Ben Shapiro defended him on X. Imagine if someone had made a joke about October 7th directed at him on his platform. The hypocrisy is crazy. Yes. Like that person would be fucking locked up. It's just so fucking annoying. Yeah, from writing for Richard Spencer to appearing on CNN. What a glow up for Ryan Drudusky. Congrats to all involved. Yeah, Richard Spencer confirms it too.